Hello subscribers, I hope you guys are doing well. I deeply apologize for not uploading a review in 3 weeks. College has been getting in the way, and of course I've got to prioritize my academics. So the dinosaur toy we'll be reviewing today is the Jurassic World Dominion Ferocious Pack Einiosaurus from Mattel. This is the last new sculpt in the Ferocious Pack assortment and one of the last Dominion toys in general before Mattel moves on to Dino Trackers. So I bought this off of Mercari for about $14 plus shipping. I decided to buy it online for a slightly higher price rather than just wasting gas going to a bunch of stores just to find nothing. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. It pretty much has the same features as the other Dominion packagings, the nighttime sky, render of Rexy, and the Jurassic World Dominion logo. But by looking at this packaging, you can tell that Mattel has cut corners, compared to the other Attack Pack packagings, which had plastic completely covering the figure and keeping it safe. There's only enough plastic to hold the figure and to put on the title. So the good news, it's easy to release this figure from the packaging. But the bad news, someone at a store could easily steal it. So it's probably just Mattel trying to save money or them just simply being cheap. On the back, there are some instructions on how to add this dinosaur to your Jurassic World Facts app game and the other dinosaurs in the Wave 3 Ferocious Pack. So we've got the Velociraptor, which I'm giving a pass. I do not need a millionth Velociraptor. Then there's Atrociraptor Panthera, which is just a repack of the figure from the Own Escape set. The Moros Intrepidus repaint, which actually looks like a good repaint. If I find it for a good price, I'll get it. But if I don't, I'm not going to lose sleep. It's just a repaint. And of course, the subject of today's review, the Einiosaurus. So let's see what this new Ceratopsian has to offer. Here is the Einiosaurus out of the packaging, and I have to say, this is a good looking figure. It's the only Ferocious Pack figure to appeal to me, which is a shame since Mattel usually does a good job when it comes to the sculpt and paint of these smaller figures. The Baby Nasutoceratops, the sculpt was good, the paint job was pretty bland, and it was just a baby dinosaur, so nothing too exciting. The Rugops, it had its charms, but it still had a bland paint job and a pretty weird sculpt. The Sungaripterus, again, it was nothing too special, but it was still good, and the Moros and the Miragaia were just straight up hideous. So it seems like that Mattel saved the best for last. And I believe that this is the 11th Ceratopsian that Mattel released, and the upcoming Diabloceratops makes 12. So as always, let's dive in and take a look at the detailing. Starting with the head sculpt, you can see that lovely detailing. See above the eye there's the ridge, and then there's some shrink wrapping around the nose area and the eyes. So across the frill, you can see some spikes, then the two large ones, and then they continue all across the frill. Then you got the beak right there, and it looks like there's jaw articulation, but there's none. Then there's some skin folds around the neck area, and on the back, there's more of that reptilian scalation. And even though this is stylized, Mattel still included key features of Einiosaurus skull, like the nasal horn that points forward and the two large horns on the top of the frill. And going down the figure, it's nothing that stands out too much. It's pretty much what you would expect from these Mattel Jurassic World dinosaurs, muscular limbs, and detailing that's represented by crispy scales or sculpted lines. And then the underbelly has a surprising amount of detailing. Most of the time it's just smooth. Here is the figure from the other side, and the most unique thing about this figure's detailing are the osteoderms on the top. They remind me of those retro depictions of dinosaurs. This Ceratopsian sports 6 points of articulation. You can move the head, which is on a ball joint. All 4 limbs can move. And finally, the tail can move 360. This type of articulation on the tail is pointless. I mean, who's gonna pose it like that? Moving on to the paint job, you can see that there's a yellow color on the frill, which is also the same color as the eyes. There's some brown on the frill, which is the same color as the tip of the horn. The head is a darker blue. The vast majority of the figure is this lighter blue, and then the legs and the underbelly are a very light minty green color. The paint jobs of these Jurassic World Dominion toys have been pretty poorly done. They look very bland, or they just look very incomplete. This Einiosaurus has a somewhat decent paint job. I like the choice of colors. I think the mint green looks great with the blue and the dark blue. But they just could have done a little bit more. I mean, just look at the underbelly. The minty green is only on the belly and on the legs. It makes it look like this ceratopsian is wearing pants. The least they could have done is continue the green up to the neck, down the tail, and put it on the arms as well. But if anything, I still like this coloration more than the diarrhea-dipped Cosmoceratops. If you guys have ever eaten at Olive Garden before, you'll recall that after you finish your meal, the waiter will come and give you these mint chocolates. And the coloration on the legs and the belly reminds me of those mint chocolates. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to take a bite out of these. Let's do some quick measurements with the flexible ruler. So from the tip of the tail to the tip of the beak, this Einiosaurus is about 6 inches long. And from the tip of the tail to the tip of the nasal horn, the figure is about 7 inches long. So Einiosaurus was estimated to be around 15 feet in length, so this figure would fit in the 1/30 scale, though it could still fit in the 1/18 scale as a smaller individual. Starting off with our comparisons, here are all of the other Mattel ceratopsians that I have. We've got the Protoceratops, the Einiosaurus, the Zuniceratops, the Styracosaurus, the Cosmoceratops, the Pachyrhinosaurus, the Triceratops, the Nasutoceratops, the Sinoceratops, and the Pentaceratops. The only ones I don't have yet is the upcoming Diabloceratops, which I ordered on Amazon, and it should be coming late November or early December. And then there's the Microceratus, because those Destructosaurus sets are hard to come by. I'm wondering why Mattel didn't re-release that figure for Dominion. For the Maisie and Lystrosaurus set, instead of putting in another Velociraptor beta, they should have put in that Microceratus, since both Lystrosaurus and Microceratus were present in the Malta black market. Here are the other new species from the Ferocious Pack assortment. We've got the Wave 1 Miragaia, Moros, and Sungaripterus, and the Wave 2 Rugops. You can see how bland and boring these paint jobs look. The least Mattel could have done is give these better paint jobs. Here is the Einiosaurus next to Dr. Ian Malcolm, and let's bring in some other dinosaurs from the Wave 3 Dinosaur and Human sets. We've got the Green Velociraptor, the Parasaurolophus, and the Lystrosaurus. Let's bring in a couple more Wave 3 stuff. Here is the Roar Strikers Ichthyovenator, the Massive Action Siamosaurus, and the Extreme Damage Geniodectes and Atrociraptor Tiger. One more Wave 3 figure for comparison. Here is the Hammond Collection Dilophosaurus. Up next, we have some prehistoric creatures from Wave 2, including the awesome Hammond Collection Ceratosaurus. And here are some toys from the very first wave of the Dominion toy line. Here is the large, extreme damage Roaring Allosaurus, which is great, definitely the best Allosaurus from Mattel so far. Let's bring in the Safari Ltd Einiosaurus, which is a more scientifically accurate depiction of the animal. Next, here is the stupendous Reborn Tyrannosaurus Rex Kiss. Last but not least, here is the Mattel Einiosaurus next to the Collectae Xiphactinus and the Collectae Mini Xiphactinus. Well, there you have it guys. This was my review on the Mattel Jurassic World Dominion Ferocious Pack Einiosaurus. Overall, this is a good figure. The plastic quality is pretty good. I like the choice of colors, the detailing is good enough, and the sculpt is recognizable as an Einiosaurus. Though, I do have a few issues. One I forgot to point out earlier in the review is the head is very large compared to the rest of the body. And the other issue, like I've already pointed out, they should have put the minty green underbelly colors not just on the legs and the underbelly, but up the neck, on the arms, and down the tail. So, I'm going to give this figure a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. If you want it, you can find it at your local Walmarts and Targets, though being a Ferocious Pack figure, for some reason these smaller figures tend to be harder to find in stores. So do I recommend you guys picking this up? If you're a completist when it comes to these new species like me, then sure, go for it. Add another Mattel Ceratopsian to your Jurassic World collection. But if you're not a completist, then I'd say give it a pass and save your money for something better. So if you guys enjoyed this review, hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comment section about what you think of this new Jurassic World toy.